Hey guys, it's Generalkidd here. How's everyone doing today? So, for today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the secret characters in Halo Reach that you normally don't see in-game, or that you're not supposed to see in-game. Now, in previous videos, I've covered all the secret vehicles, secret weapons, and even secret equipment hidden in the game files for Halo Reach that you normally can't use. But for this video, we'll be taking a look at the secret characters. Now, in a previous video a long time ago, I did briefly touch upon this subject before. But for this video, I wanted to do a more comprehensive and up-to-date look at what secret characters are hidden in the game files of Halo Reach. So that is what we will be covering for this video. Now, before we get to today's video, I got a quick message from our sponsor, Struct. So Struct is an app for creating, playing, and sharing 3D games. If you ever had an idea for a game you wanted to make, Struct will allow you to make your ideas a reality. No coding skills needed. Creating a game is easy with Struct. You can choose from several ready-made templates or start from a blank draft. Best of all, the Struct app is completely free. There's already been more than 2 million games created and shared on Struct with many different genres and themes. Simply scroll through the featured games and I'm sure you'll find a game you like. There's even multiplayer games on here too, like this game called Struct Showdown. This game is actually pretty fun and feels like a full-fledged game. You can probably get pretty competitive in this game too. You can even create your own server on this game and play with up to 12 of your friends or join other people's matches too. This app is always improving too. The Struct team is always closely listening to feedback and ideas from the community, hence why the app is constantly updated and improved every week. So if you want to start bringing your game ideas to life, or you just want to play other people's creations, you should definitely give Struct a try. You can download Struct from the Google Play or Apple App Store using my special link in the description below. Okay, so let's start with some of the more familiar ones that you might have seen in some of my recent videos. Starting with, well, very recently actually, when 343 released the Halo Reach mod tools, they added a couple of new characters to the game that weren't in the 360 versions. Or rather, they added some cut characters, or creatures in this case. The first one being the cut space squirrel. There were some Bungie screenshots and images from a long time ago showing some cut creatures, and one of them was the space squirrel. And the space squirrel, it turns out, is actually pretty complete in this game. There's just a few odd things about it. You know, it's got animations and everything, but you can't kill it by shooting or punching it. You have to kill it with explosions, and when it dies, well, you know, its body just it doesn't you know, it's not fully finished in that case. The next character, the cut character that was added that I've covered in the previous video, is the Spadehorn. The cut Spadehorn was also like the space squirrel, a cut creature that Bungie started making but never finished. I believe there were some like builds of Halo Reach a long time ago that had the Spadehorn in it, but it was never in the final game. Like, it wasn't even like hidden in the game files or anything. But now it's officially available in the mod tools. But the Spadehorn is even like less complete than the squirrel. Like, it's like the quality of it isn't as, you know, polished, and you can't really kill it or anything. So that's it for the Spadehorn. Next up, we have what looks like a Jackal here, but it's actually a Jackal hologram. Now, this is technically a character you can see in game, but I just wanted to show it here because it is very rare. Like, Jackals almost never use hologram abilities in game. You could occasionally find like a clip or two here and there where like the Jackal people have seen Jackals use hologram, but it is very rare. But in addition to like Spartans and elites, Jackals are the only other species that can use holograms, but they just almost never use it in game. So seeing a Jackal hologram is something that, you know, you'll hardly ever get to see. Next up, we have what's called Reflection Lighting Test. That's literally the name of this character here. And it is a character, because in the game files, it is a biped tag, which means, well, it's, you know, like a living creature, so to speak. However, it's not meant to be like a person or anything, or a creature. It's meant to be used to test a map's reflection and lighting, literally. But for some reason, Bungie chose to make it a biped for whatever reason, and I don't really know why they did that. They did it for Halo 3 as well. In fact, in Halo 3, it had a different name on some missions, but in Reach, it's just called Reflection Lighting Test, and it is placed on some maps actually. But next up, we have what you can't see here, but what's called a Null character. I think it's just called Null, but it's well, it's literally nothing. It's a character, it's a biped, but it has no model, no collision, nothing. It's just an invisible, intangible biped, and it's pretty much used, you know, for certain vehicles that you don't need to see the driver. maybe like a Pelican or a Phantom pilot might use a Null character, but not always. But anyways, next up we have all these noble team heads. And these heads are also bipeds on their own. They are just the head. You don't see their bodies, but they do have solid bodies. Like I can actually like walk into their bodies. It's just invisible. So why do they have separate heads as like actual bipeds or characters in the game? Well, fun fact, in Halo Reach cutscenes, whenever their helmets are off, they're not literally taking their helmets off. Well, actually, like the helmets of the Spartans, they are detached from the body during cutscenes, like physically detached. They don't have a separate helmet object, so to speak, but their helmets are detached from their bodies, and their heads, the head models that you see here, they're spawned in separately, and then they are attached to the body. So what you see during cutscenes when members of Noble Team have their helmets off, that is just like two separate bipeds combined together. And the reason they did that is because I guess it's, less resources, or it's easier to have like a high quality head as its own biped, and then just attach it to the body in game, rather than actually having a high quality head underneath a helmet in a single model. That probably would have just been, made it like more complicated than needed to be. So that's probably why Bungie made the heads separate in cutscenes. So aside from the heads, we actually have this Spartan here that has no helmet on. And the reason why I wanted to show this one is because it's actually kind of interesting what Spartans with no helmets on look like. And this isn't like the cutscene version where the helmet was taken off. This is just the helmet texture removed to see what's under the helmet. If this were in a cutscene, that little headpiece sticking out, that would also be detached from the Spartan in a cutscene that, where the head is needed. But in this case, a Spartan without the helmet on has like this weird thing up top, like almost like a visor layer or something like that. I'm not really even sure how to describe it, but you can see it here. And that's what's under the helmet of Spartans. And I just wanted to show that as well, because I thought it was pretty interesting. So it's technically Noble 6's head, because if you remove the helmet, that's what you get. For the last character here, we have the Forge Monitor. However, this is a variant that I've never seen in game, but it exists in the game files. It's the Monitor, but it's a major damage variant. And I never seen it in game because in Forge, you can't damage the Forge Monitor. Once you damage it enough, it just dies, it explodes, and that's it. It just goes from 100 to 0 essentially. But this variant exists in the game, and it's never used anywhere in Reach. However, I suspect this is left over from Halo 3. I can't really tell because in Halo 3 with Guilty Spark, once you damage him with the Spartan lasers, there's like a lot of fire and smoke and everything, so it's hard to compare, but I suspect this is the leftover variant from Halo 3, from the Guilty Spark boss fight once he's been damaged enough by Spartan lasers, like in his last stage just before he explodes. So I would assume that's what it is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I'm fairly sure this is just leftover stuff from Halo 3. But it's pretty cool that it still exists in Reach in that case, and it can be spawned in. So there you guys have it. Those are pretty much all the secret characters and variants and interesting characters, really, hidden in the Halo Reach game files that you don't always get to see in-game, or you're not always supposed to see in-game as well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and found it to be interesting. If you did, then as always, make sure to leave a like, leave thoughts in the comments. Anything else we check out or look into, just let me know in the comments down below. But aside from that, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!